Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. I'm back again. I told you I'd be here today. I'm tired. I didn't sleep very much last night. I guess I'm excited about our trip tomorrow. And anyway, so today I've spent the whole day packing, and Mark's been doing laundry and being like, "Do you want this? Do you want that?" And then I don't know. It's so hard to pack for Savannah because you just don't know. It can be cold or it can be really warm. It just kind of depends. So, I'm just going to take layerable stuff. I had it all planned out. I was taking nothing but joggers and hoodies that match, like matching suits, um, from Old Navy. I had like green and blue and purple and pink, and I had one for every day. And then I thought, oh no, because I don't want to look like that I don't have anything but sweatpants in my closet. And y'all, I was trying to put on some makeup and I brushed my eyeshadow right across my eye. So if it's watering and I'm wiping it, that's why. And I didn't put on any mascara because of it, because I knew it was going to water and I'd be wiping it. So I'm going to say hi to my chat real quick and then we are going to get started. I've also been working on getting some lives ready for while I'm gone. Oh man, that hurts. So that I don't have to be researching there because we'll be busy during the day, and then I'll come in the evening and do the lives. So anyway, so Marilee, it's so good to see you. Joel, good to see you. Mischief is in the back room. It's good to see her too. I'm going to try to stick under an hour. Um, oh man, Evie's good to see you too. Totally Jersey, Joe McCoy. Today I took flowers to the graves of a family lost to the evils of Church of Scientology. I did this to remind myself of how bad the cult is. It has been over 50 years and it still affects me. Oh my gosh. Between Joel and my eye, I'm crying here. Most of it's Joel. I really would like to get with you and just talk to you and find out what happened. We don't have to go live with it. We don't have to do anything. If you just want to talk sometime, holler at me and I'll give you my phone number. We can have a phone conversation or something. Just chat. Um, I just it breaks my heart. Hey Hef, good to see you. Yes, inappropriate heifer says she has an Old Navy OV sweats. Oh man, my eye sweats and goodies. I love them. Old Navy still rocks. Yeah, it does. I've got several of them. I just it's ridiculous, kind of. I love them. I love anything that's like comfortable, just to like sit around the house in because I mean, let's face it, for the last year and a half, I haven't really went anywhere. So no sense in dressing up. Yes, hoodies. I thought you meant hoodies instead of goodies, but I kind of like the goodies. There used to be a store here in Oklahoma. I don't know if it was other places, but it was called Goodies. Oh my God, I used to love that thing. Oh no, your volume isn't working. poor, poor Mischief. She has so much problems with stuff. Hey, Constance June, good to see you too. If y'all hear Mark talking in the background, he's on the phone with his sister. She's going with us tomorrow. And so they're figuring out clothes, like how many do we need a coat? Oh my goodness, this eye, it'll quit in just a minute, but I washed it out. I'm just so glad to see all of you. So I got some kind of cute, some entertaining, but also some cute shows that I'm going to be doing pretty soon. So I think that'll be fun for everybody. I think. I was just glancing back up there, and Joel's comment just, oh man, let me tell you, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Um, I don't have anybody that I know that was, directly influenced or, affected by Scientology. The closest I got was the Branch Davidian with that friend from high school, but he's, good and fine and everything. Took a while, but he's fine. Oh, because I can star comments, but my phone lags 20 seconds behind, so you will need to pull them up at the end. That's fine. Whatever we need to do, sweetheart. It don't matter. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. It shouldn't be a very long one. Not real bad. But I hope it's entertaining and, teaches you something. So I, of course, loved it because the guy that was doing the interview, one of the interviews that I was looking at anyway, was talking with Stephen Kent. He just kept saying that Scientology is doomed. And I was just like, yeah. And he even gave credit to, he didn't say SPTV specifically, but he did say online communities and, so I was like, that might be, oh, Ellie's going to miss this one. And plug it, wait 15 seconds and plug it back in. Yeah. It might work. I mean, I know you're joking, but it might work. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Scientology which once thrived, now faces extinction, y'all. And that couldn't make me happier. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm pretty sure you're all as happy as I am about it. Why, you might ask? Because they're unable to change with the times. This Stephen Kent said that they're unable to change with the times, so it leaves them destined. What is it he says exactly? Destined to failure. And he's what they call a cult tracker. So, I don't know what that means exactly, but he's a cult tracker. Anyway, so Stephen Kent said he knew he had become a threat when the Church of Scientology sent 16 letters to the University of Alberta administrators demanding he stop disparaging the church. So they're, getting a hold of his employer and being like, you need to stop this guy. He's being mean to us. He's breaking our hearts and, embarrassing us. Look at me, I'm in two places at once. Anyway, Kent, a sociologist and cult expert, said that they wrote letters to different levels of administration trying to stop his activities because he was out protesting and everything, and to silence him and to basically just get him in trouble at his job. I mean, if you go back and read some of his stuff, he had been kind of a pain in the ass to the cult. And not just for a little bit. He'd been a pain in the ass for years, y'all. And as a postdoctoral fellowship at McMaster University, he started collecting stories of confinement, sexual assault, and coercion, which in the 1980s we really didn't even know about yet. And so it was kind of all new, whenever he started collecting all these stories. He is, by all accounts, a top go-to expert for media. In 2018, he was quoted in the Irish Times when the newspaper discovered the cult had sent, get this, y'all, I had heard about this, but it just felt good to have it, because I had heard about it. But, whenever you hear about it and you can't even really remember where you heard it, you just heard it. And then you're like, I don't really know if I want to talk about it if I can't recall where I heard it at. But now I can say I heard it from this guy's interview. Anyway, he discovered that the cult had been sending thousands of pamphlets to Irish schools under the pretense of a human rights organization. And this was just one of their recent attempts to infiltrate the Irish society and promote their doctrine and get in with the kids in the schools and stuff. And we're talking about young kids, not just high school level kids or college. We're talking about, I don't know what they call it in Ireland, but, with like elementary grade kids, you know. So, oh, it just that infuriates me. I don't want any church. I don't care who they are. I don't want anybody getting in with our kids. I just don't. And I am a Christian and I don't want it happening. I just don't. So my computer's going a little wacky. So anyway, but Kent, he was like, as far as he's concerned, that was just a desperate attempt to stay alive. He truly believes that there has been a significant opposition to Scientology in Ireland and that their numbers are dwindling. In fact, he said as of their last census, and this was in, I think, 2000, it was either 19 or 21. I can't remember, somewhere in there that he was talking about this. The last census that they had in Ireland revealed that its membership of Scientology at 87. Can you believe that? 87. I mean, they talk about that they've got hundreds of thousands of members and they're, building this huge organization and that they're doing so good and all that. And they've got 87 members in Ireland. Now, granted, Ireland's not, huge, but anyway, he says that reflects what he calls a global public relations crisis that has plagued the church for years. And he said it's only getting worse. It's getting worse by the year. Kent said historically, new religions die. I mean, people start up new religions all the time, and historically they do die. And most of the time, thankfully, right? But it's Scientology's been going for a few years, about 60 years or so. But it is, yeah, Mischief 87. Woohoo, 87. But anyway, yeah, it is in a downward path. He called it a downward path. I'm going to call it a downward spiral. And I don't know why, but this whole live just has me I'm just tickled over it because I mean, it's just like somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, knows their business, doesn't have a dog in the fight kind of deal. He doesn't have family members in the cult. He doesn't have, he's not an ex-cult member. He's just an academic person who studies cults, and he says they are on their way out, which could not make me happier. As most of us, I'm sure here anyway, know, Scientology was created by L. Ron Hubbard in 1954. Hubbard was a science fiction writer, and let's just add, he'd been diagnosed with multiple mental health issues by multiple people. Many numbers of times that people have been like, I mean, doctors and stuff. I'm not talking about just people who met on the street, which I'm sure they were really doing it. They're probably like, whack-a-doodle. But yeah, okay. In 1951, yeah, there is some like going back and forth about it, like that he did Dianetics in 51 and then later changed it to a church, Joel, but I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. I'm just reading the data that they had. So, yeah. But anyway, so anyway, because he had been diagnosed with so many mental health issues, he had a beef with the psychiatric community to begin with. I mean, so, that's what when he started Scientology, that was his biggest deal, was that he was against the psychiatric stuff. And honestly, God, I hate to give him even a slight little, it's not a kudo, y'all, but it's like, okay, whatever. There was some weird psychiatric shit going on back then, y'all. And so I kind of get it. I mean, they were doing lobotomies and they were just doing all kinds of crazy stuff, electric shock and stuff. And I kind of get it. But again, like Stephen Kent said, Scientology cannot change with the times. That was then, this is now, and they still say stuff about lobotomies and electric shock and the exactly. Oracle. He did. He begged to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital at one stage. I mean, like, what is that saying? Like the basically what what's good for me but not for you. Oh, I cannot remember that. I hate that. Good for me but not for thee. Something like that. Okay. But anyway, Scientology was developed from ideas that he presented a few years earlier in a book called Dianetics. So yeah, it was in I think 51 that he had did Dianetics, the modern science of mental health. Which what cracks me the hell up, y'all, is that they are still selling Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, and nothing in it has changed since 1951. Probably before that, I mean, because he didn't just write it and publish it, boom. I mean, it took a little bit to write, right? I'm going to have to look into that. Well, I still think, Joel, I think that they're kind of right because I think that people consider Dianetics and Scientology one and the same. So I think that technically it is right. Oh, it feels good in my throat. Let's see where I was at. No. Okay, so it was sort of a self-help psychology. It questioned then current questionable practices like lobotomies and electric shock therapy. So in that sense, you know, good on him, I guess, because I'm glad that somebody was, you know, questioning it, right? But we're going back to what this Stephen says, that they're not able to change with the times. And so that's going to be their downfall. So I hope they just keep on talking about those lobotomies and electric shock. So what we need to remember though is that Hubbard, he came up with these processes that he said was going to take the place of psychiatric treatment and drugs and, lobotomies and electric shock and everything, therapy, everything. Wow, Joel, we have got to sit down and talk. Absolutely. Anyway, so Hubbard's therapeutic processes, they have no basis in science or facts or anything. It's just stuff that he came up with in his mind, okay? And he had no formal or even informal training or experience in mental health other than his own wackadoodliness. But at the time, y'all, now we have to think about this, what was going on back then, and it did hold considerable appeal to, and they called it the poor man's psychoanalysis. Analysis. I can't say the word. You know what I mean. My tongue gets tied. Anyway, Hubbard claimed people could cure their trauma and neuroses from painful events in the past called engrams, all by answering questions in auditing. Their answers, tested by a lie detector called an e-meter. Now keep in mind, y'all, also, not only was he not trained and was crazy, but the e-meter it doesn't do anything. It shows there's no scientific proof that it does anything, and they have to label it as such, that it does not do anything. It's for like entertainment value, which is kind of embarrassing. I don't know. I would just be like, oh my God. Do these people that go in for auditing, do they not see the little tag on it? I would like to ask somebody that. Like, do they keep it hid? Is it on the bottom of it? Do they turn it towards the wall where you don't see it? Because I'm nosy. I would be flipping that thing around. I'd be one of those people, I'm not really, but I'm tempted. I've never done it, but I am one of those people that is very tempted to look in somebody's medicine cabinet and just see what they got. I don't care what they got, but I'm nosy. Now, I've never done it, Except for Megan, I did get in her medicine cabinet one time years ago looking for Tylenol because I had the cramps. But that was it. I've never done it any other time. I won't even look in our own. I'm like, Mark, do we have any of this? Do we have any of that? But anyway, but according to Scientology, y'all, this is what they said. Now, when that's them talking. Okay. So according to Scientology, after enough of these auditing sessions, it debilitates the engrams and they are erased. So they're like poof, they're gone, okay? And the person reaches a state of being clear, capable of fulfilling their full potential. Yeah, I'm not nosy curious. I've never done it, but do you ever just like think, I'd like to look in there and see what's in there, but I don't do it. I don't want somebody doing it in mine. They'd be so bored. There's toothpaste and clear eyes, some Band-Aids. So anyway, so Hubbard, here he was. He's like telling everybody they can cure themselves. He's putting them on this lie detector e-meter thing, and he's doing all that. And if you and I did that, what do you think would happen to us? We would get charged with practicing medicine without a license. So in order to protect that, keep from that happening, he rebranded his pseudo therapy as a religion. So that was actually the first reason why he switched it to a religion. It wasn't the tax exemption, like I always kind of assumed, but I'm sure that came very close second. But yeah, that's what he did, was he changed it to a religion, because you can practice your religion and you can do all kinds of weird shit. But you can't just be like me going, hey, let me give you some therapy. Like, if you take this and this and this, it'll cure your cancer. So no. So that's why he switched to a religion. And then Hubbard, to be so weird and kind of crazy, he's kind of smart in a way about some things, because he knew that celebrities had a lot of clout with people. And so he, of course, set out to bring all these celebrities, any celebrities that he could, into the cult. And y'all, I'm creating a list. You would not believe all the, I'm just like, oh my God, it's going to be a whole live on its own of the celebrities, okay? Of just the celebrities from especially like the early days. I'm going to say from about 1980 back, okay? All the celebrities that he tried to get into Scientology, and you'll see how often it failed, which was amazing. So grateful, thank God. But anyway, I'm about done with that list. It's one of those things I'm working on. I might do that while I'm in Savannah. That would be a cute little thing at night. We could just kind of chat and say, do you remember who this person is? And do you know who that person is? And, I like that kind of thing. So anyway, he was really trying to bring those celebrities in, though, y'all. It was crazy. I mean, when I started compiling the list, I was just like, because I've seen like several lists, like it'll say this list and that list, and I don't want to be doubling up, so I'm trying to go through and take out who I've already got. So by the 60s and 70s, Scientology's membership exploded as a countercultural movement / church, I guess, emphasizing self-knowledge, spiritual fulfillment, a distrust of established medical science, and aspirations toward world peace. Now, here's where I don't get it. And I see this all the time, and I don't get it. And I just wish that somebody, I don't know, if I still went to church, I guess I could talk to my pastor about it, but I mean, I could anyway. We're still friends. But anyway, I see all this stuff when they're talking about cults, and especially cults. I get the ones that are like Jim Jones, where they actually started out as a Christian group, and all these other cults that start out like some kind of a literal religion. Okay, I get that they're having some kind of spiritual fulfillment, but I don't understand what the spiritual fulfillment is with groups like Scientology and some like the sex cults and suicide cults and all these other terrorist cults and all this stuff. And they still list it as something that they have with these cults is spiritual fulfillment. And I'm like, I need to just really probably just let it go. It don't matter. This is a little thing I added in there, y'all. I'm sure that, I mean, I've heard a lot about what basically amounts to some orgies, some sex parties, and a lot of drugs that weren't against the rules being used. So I'm sure that that was probably, and that was probably a draw too, especially in that time. But after its heyday in the late 70s and the early 80s, controversies started hitting the church about abuse in the movement and the huge donations required by the members. So it took until the 70s and 80s for people to be like, you know what? This kind of sucks. Hmm. More recently, the decline can at least partially be attributed to the number of high profile celebrities flying the coop, y'all, including Canadian director Paul Haggis, Lisa Marie Presley, and Leah Remini. But I personally believe that the presence of some former members and their supporters, all of us, y'all, has had an effect too. On YouTube and the protesters that are on all in all these cities across the world, that has to be helping. And as I was reading all through this interview and everything with this Kent guy, I'm like, well, I bet that the protesters and the the SPTV community is helping too. And then it wasn't just a little bit down the down in his interview that he actually started in. Hey, Doug, good to see you. CC, good to see you too. So anyway, Leah Remini has been a tenacious critic, y'all. First recruited at the age of 9, which just, oh my God. I mean, I realize her mom was in the church, but she was actually recruited and, she was working and doing all these things at age 9. That is 7. My other granddaughter's like 10. Emma is 10. So I try to imagine Emma as like a Sea Org member, and it is mind blowing, just absolutely mind blowing. Oh, anyway, she left the church in 2013. She wrote a very revealing memoir, which was very good. I liked it a lot. I read it twice. And she hosted a docuseries exposing many of the organization's failings and atrocities, as far as I'm concerned. He didn't say atrocities, but I did. But here we go, y'all. So Kent claims, and I believe, the main cause, okay, the main cause of Scientology's downfall is the influence of the internet. Critics are actively telling their stories and even posting material, including some of the cult's own confidential documents. And they have lots and lots of supporters. Hey, Brian, good to see you. So I about fell off my chair when he said that the biggest contributor to their downfall is the internet. That's us, y'all. That's us. Hey, Ina, good to see you. Yes, better late than never. And you can always go back and catch up after it's over or go catch up on 2x speed or something. So, yes, I do, Doug. I believe that the internet is a major thorn in their side. Absolutely. Some countries, such as Germany and France, have taken a firm stand against this cult. Germany calls it an abusive sect masquerading as a religion, and France just flat out says it's a cult and that it's dangerous. Why we can't get the US to see what other countries clearly see is beyond my comprehension. I cannot understand it. We in the US have more ex-Scientologists than I believe any other country really that's out speaking about it. We have more um, people out, protesting, and we just, why can't we get it? I'm telling you, there's somewhere along the line, yeah, Germany and France have their heads on straight. They sure do. Yeah, poet, it is money somewhere. I just can't figure out exactly where or who or what. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Kent believes with so many first person stories and damaging documents available, their ability to recruit has seriously declined. He said that it's almost non existent, that he doesn't know how they recruit anybody, that it has to be um, people that are already, they've got family and friends in it, and, that kind of thing. Do y'all like my little mug? Mischief got it for me for Christmas. Isn't that just the sweetest thing? It has a lid and a little spoon. Absolutely, Doug. It always is about money for our government. And that's not political, because that is both sides of that damn aisle. I thought this was funny, y'all. Kent said that it's a curious irony that Hubbard exploited so successfully when he created Scientology in the 1950s, emerging communications technology and the power of popular culture, especially celebrity recruitment. But now, those are the very forces that are going to bring them down. They're conspiring against the cult because now they can't change anything. So their communications are still the same. That's why they're still using freaking fax machines and all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, fax machines is probably, big time new stuff to them. I mean, so it's just like crazy, 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 crazy. But they did that, all the technology, all the celebrities and everything, and now that's working against them. So I'm just, says beyond its image problems documented on the 2015 HBO documentary Going Clear, the most destructive seeds of the cult's demise were sown in its very inception. Oh, I know, sorry. Based on Mark's doing laundry, so if your squeaky doors, that's the door going into the laundry room. Based on its fixed revelation, I can't even talk, or the unalterable word of L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology is unable to change with the times and therefore is doomed because they cannot change. One example is the inescapable homophobia that lies at the heart of the cult, which I completely agree with. Hubbard said homosexuality is a sexual perversion, writing that the sexual pervert is actually quite ill physically. He is very far from culpable for his condition, so he can't help it, but he's also far from normal and extremely dangerous to society. And they can't change anything that LRH said. So they can act like that they are accepting of cult. Do you see Charlie's tail wagging? I was like, what is that? But anyway, they can say that they're progressing and that they're okay with people, being gay and everything. And, what is it? I'm just not supposed to act on it. Kind of like the Christians, they're gonna pray the gay away. I'm like, whatever, Jesus. But they've tried to backpedal on it, y'all. With this, they're trying to be like, no, that wasn't exactly what he meant. Yes, that was exactly what he meant. And I'm sorry, but since you say that you cannot change anything, then you cannot change that either. And you're just going to have to live with it. You made your bed. So Hubbard was very clear, damn clear, on his thoughts on homosexuality and other things. And remember, those cannot be changed. Any group with a fixed revelation has a hard time adjusting to changing times. And even though the Church of Scientology tries to update the appearance of the books, the content remains the words of a mentally ill man in the 1950s. Y'all, what they've done is, in an attempt to look more modern, they're putting, how you can put new jacket covers on books and stuff. So they're putting jacket covers on books that look, way more modern and hip and, what they call sexy, and which is ridiculous. But anyway, so that's what they're doing to try to, make it look like that they're progressing with the times. But anybody that actually buys a book and actually reads it, they can look at this nice little cover all they want, but when they start flipping through those pages reading, they're going to be like, what? This is nuts. Hubbard's doctrine is so fixed, the Church of Scientology began transcribing his text into stainless steel plates in the 1980s. Which I've heard of this too, but they're placing them in titanium capsules in underground vaults located in the desert, accessible only through a secured tunnel. So just to make sure that nobody changes what he said, they're making these titanium plates and putting them, in these capsules and then burying them underground with an armed guard and God only knows what all. And it's shit that was said in the 50s. And they expect everybody to still live by that. I don't... I think this Stephen Kent's right. I think that the internet and the, SBTV community and the protesters and even the aftermath community, that whole era, everybody, anybody fighting Scientology is having an effect right now. I truly believe it. Slow, but an effect. But I believe that a lot of their downfall is going to be that people are going to die off. They're going to have nothing but a bunch of old people that they've got in hospice care. So they'll be dumping them on the street somewhere, probably. Bless their hearts. It just makes me ill. But anyway, let's be real. What are they going to do with them, right? When they can't get any new people to take their place. They don't have any new people to take care of them. They don't have any new people to clean their toilets, or cook their meals, or mop their floors, or scrub them with a toothbrush, or lick the floor, or whatever dumbass Miscavige wants them to do. So if they are so backward and behind the times that they can't get new recruits, and we can talk the people that are in there into leaving, they're dead in the water. Miscavige can take the money and run off with Tom Cruise and whatever they want to do, y'all. Just say that neither one of them's got a whole lot of luck with the ladies. Can't compare the crazy crap to the Mormons. Don't get me started on them, y'all, because I'm doing some research on them right now. An example, in 1890, Latter-day Saints President Wilford Woodruff received a revelation to ban polygamy, resulting in a policy change that partly, made it possible for Utah's acceptance as a state in 1896. even though they're kind of wackadoodle too. Kind of sound like wackadoodle doo, didn't it? Wackadoodle too. Anyway, even though they're, they got problems too, they change with the times at least a little bit, enough to keep them going. And they have millions of members, documented members. Scientology's doing this. I hope they just like, you know. And in the 1970s, y'all, the Mormons abandoned their position that, oh my God, they abandoned their position that Black people are branded with the mark of Cain. Mormonism has been able to adjust, but Scientology does not. So we're gonna have, when we get rid of Scientology and we start fighting the Mormons, it's gonna take us longer because they at least change a little bit, and there's a whole lot of them, and they have great big families. We knew some Mormons that lived here. It was the first Mormons that I had been around my whole life. I mean, I didn't think anything of it as a kid. Well, I was in high school, but I really didn't think anything of it. And anyway, they had like 7 kids. I mean, that's a lot for right now. I mean, back in the day, that might not have been much, but in today's society, that's a lot of kids. No face, I got 99 problems, but a wackadoodle do ain't one. A wackadoodle do. Oh. LRH's teeth are a horse's, of course. uh, yeah. Eileen, I know a few very homophobic men who actually are only phobic when it comes to gay men. They're fine with lesbian couples. Really odd. That's because they have these fantasies. And those women, I mean, several lesbian couples that are friends. And I mean, they, the full range of from very, butch to very girly looking and one of each and 2 of this and 2 of that. And they're amazing, and I love them. I have some of the best friends. I have gay men friends too. I actually have more gay men friends than I do women, but I have several gay female couple friends. And these men can sit there, and I know it's not all men, but the ones that are all homophobic about men, about gay men, but not lesbians. Those women don't want nothing that they got. Because there ain't nothing that they cannot replicate. Anna from Canada, good to see you. Happy holidays to you, Susie, and your family. Same to you. Same to you. The cult of Scientology still does have considerable wealth. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, David Miscavige can take it and run off with little Tom Cruise. They have lavish properties around the world, and they got a bunch of junky properties around the world. So they've got a little bit of both. But in 2018, Kent said that what he could see, nobody's in them. Like that he's done a lot of traveling in his research about the Scientology cult. He's went to a lot of these, different countries and all around and looked at all these, big buildings and all that. And he says that it doesn't seem like there's anybody in them. And he said that several of the ones that he has seen have even had to shut down because they just did not have anybody to be the staff. So, take that, David Miscavige. You can say what you want. But the proof is in the pudding. And by the way, the University of Alberta never caved to Scientology and reprimanded him in any way, shape, or form. And I think that that is amazing. I absolutely think it's amazing that they did not cave from they sued them, they did all kinds of stuff, and they're like, sorry. But anyway, so y'all, the reason that I brought this particular story to you is because I found it so uplifting. We get so down and, it's been a rough month. It's been, the holidays are hard on a lot of us and they can be wonderful and horrible at the same time. And so it was nice to have a story that was just uplifting and that somebody that knows what the hell he's talking about and, that is an academic, does have clout, is recognized as somebody that the media and other people go to. This man said they're doomed. He used doomed over and over and over. I found it encouraging to our cause, to our fight to end this cult. We just got to keep fighting, right? We can get tired, we can get bored, we can get, you know, downtrodden, we can get, whatever. We see all the stuff that's going on. We see Scientology, you know, filing all these lawsuits against people that did nothing wrong but stand outside of an org, and they wait months before they complain. It's just ridiculous. But it can all weigh on us, right? But I found this to be so uplifting. I was just when I read it, I reread his articles. He had several, and I reread all of them several times and kind of picked and chose what I wanted to say because it was just so uplifting. Everything he said just sounded like, I mean, he doesn't act like it's going to be easy and that it's like imminent. He acts like it's going to take a while. I mean, many years probably. But he says it's happening. And I believe him. I actually do believe him. So anyway, I think it's beneficial to get an expert. And I mean, it helps to get one that actually thinks that we have made and continue to make progress against the evil, human trafficking, child and elder abusing, money laundering, real estate scam cult of Scientology. And I will fight this fight to my dying day if I have to. I hope not. I would love to see them, gone in my lifetime and still have years to celebrate it. But, if not, I'll fight it till the day I die. So I'm going to go see what some of my chat is talking about. I saw that one. Okay. I think I said hi to Constance June, but I'll say it again. Aw, I'm not hearing you in real time. Oh, goodness. Yeah, 87 in the entire country. Doesn't that just make you feel I'm sorry, but yay. I love it. Absolutely love it. So Joe McCoy says, I was at a talk in the Denver org in 1968. It was done by Janice Gilham, Grady's father. He said that it was in 51, but the whole talk was BS, so I didn't put much stock in it. Yeah, Eileen, I'm a bit iffy about psychiatry, if I'm honest, as I know a few people who have been going for years and all they've learned is how to wallow instead of move on and still talking about the same stuff now. Boy, girl. Absolutely. Whenever we were having a lot of, drama going on with the second gens and, some of them have been going to therapy for 3-4 times a week for years, right? And they clearly need to change therapists or something. But then they were the ones that were dogging Aaron for not going to therapy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but he seems way more like rational and well adjusted than what I'm seeing with all this screaming and cussing and, craziness. And so I don't know. I think that it can be beneficial, but I think that anytime that it's human, like psychiatry is a human. And what got me was, okay, so like I'm on an antidepressant medication and I have to get it from a psychiatrist. So um I see them once a year. They come in and they say, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Good." And they said, "Okay, I'm going to renew your prescription for the next year." And I leave. That's it. How is that? How's that helping me other than it's just the medicine helps, but the person's not helping me other than signing the deal where I can get the medicine. And I know other people that it's the same way and it's different psychiatrists. So it's not like it's one psychiatrist. I know several people that have had the same kind of a deal. So I agree. I agree with you. It's human. Anytime we have humans involved, it can get screwy. Yeah. Like many things, Marilee says it doesn't work for everyone. Yeah, they like turn customers. Yeah. Yeah. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel like I'm spending an awful lot of money coming over here and doing nothing. Yeah. Inappropriate help from my therapist is just somebody that I can say anything to and not be judged. More just a talk therapy, but I also have Alan for that too. Thank God. You tell Alan I said hi and that I love him. I love you too. Yeah. Some people don't like to be thinking for themselves or taking accountability, so they'll happily just follow. Absolutely. Cece says the very first drills in Scientology gave me a high mentality. It was disassociation. I see now, but just like a drug, it was a high. Absolutely. You should come on here and talk about your experience with me. I would love that. Just, you can email me at butfirstcoffee_Susie Oberholtz@yahoo.com and we can set something up. Or if you're on Facebook, you can Facebook message me. So I would love to just, have you come on and tell your story. So glad to see Brian here. He's like hell on wheels since he got that car. Evie, the internet is the Wild West, sometimes in a good way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. It's all about money here. Hey, Carrie Ann, good to see you. Doug says, how anyone can believe a man who wrote sci-fi books in record numbers would be the person who starts a so-called new age church and believes everything he says without seeing him as a cheesy writer. How can anyone? Absolutely. You know what gets me is they say that he was charismatic, and I think he's creepy as hell. I don't get it. Like they say Charles Manson was charismatic. I don't get that either. I just don't. I mean, I don't know if it's because I know, like when you know, but I don't know how they were, before. Yeah. Eileen says there are some openly gay couples in the Church of Scientology, like Catherine Bell and her wife, but they all seem to be women. Can't think of an openly gay man in the Church of Scientology. So that's something. You're right. Absolutely right. It is just creepy. I just think it's like these little men with their little, ugh. I don't know. And again, I'm not talking about all men, I'm talking about the creepy ones, okay? There's creepy women. You got creepy women too. I could name a few. I won't, but I could. Yeah, a person that writes fake stories is the person to take seriously. Yeah. Catherine and John Travolta, they do have celebrity status. That makes a big difference. But even John Travolta has to hide. And I'm like, damn, you are John freaking Travolta. And I said that it was his wife that was more, you know, heavily into Scientology. That it's not even him. I'm like, and get the hell out of there. Let Tom have it. Yeah. Eileen, it's like if LRH would have found it hot, it's okay. Yep. Doug, the effect is going to show up in 10 to 20 years from now when they're all dying off and no new recruits. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe he was struggling with his own sexuality, so he went in hard on gay men because of his denial. I have seen that so many times. There are those things that say back in the day, and I can't remember the guy's name right now, but I know the guy's name. He was in with another cult, and he kind of basically stole the cult leader's girlfriend. But anyway, they all three slept together. So I have absolutely no problem. It's not my business. If you're gay, straight, bi, whatever, I don't care. I don't care. No, it doesn't matter to me. But I do take, a little bit of it pisses me off when people are all homophobic, but they're probably just in denial. They're probably, covering up for themselves. And that's what I don't like. You know, just like, I mean, it was like it was okay for him to do it, but not for those other people to do it. Just like the drugs. It's okay for him to do it. When he died, he was full of drugs that were illegal to Scientologists. So everything was fine for him, but not for them. So, yeah, a cult is a cult, of course, of course. Yep, that good old double standard. Yeah, I think Davey has a man crush on Tommy Boy, big time, and I think it's reciprocated. I really do. Joe McCoy says, as a man who comes from the 50s, I can say this. Homosexuality was talked about as evil then. It was wrong, but it happened. So give us old guys a little space. Some of us are misinformed. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I get it. I absolutely get it. I mean, that's just like, and I do not use the N word. Do not. I despise it. Despise it. But I had a little old aunt, which actually was like my maybe great aunt. She was, old and lived out in the, sticks, was not big educated. She was married at a young age to a man that was 34 years older than her. They never had children. I loved her. She was the sweetest, most amazing person in the world. And she would use the word, not a lot, but it would come out occasionally. And oh my God, I'd feel sick to my stomach. But although I would be like, now we don't say that, I didn't hold it against her because, like, as in what Joel is saying, sometimes it takes a minute, it takes a minute for things that we've been taught our whole life or that we've heard our whole life or whatever to sink in. And, I, and my aunt she would be like, well, look at this Crayola. Look at this black Crayola. What does it say on there? And I'm like, I know. And I don't like that either. But, but I get it. And I do. See you other end of chat. Time's up, Susie. Oh, Anna from Canada. Thank you. That is so sweet. I hope you and your hubby had a great holidays. I hope you and your hubby, your health in the next year. Yeah, we did. We had an absolutely great holiday with his family, my family, our family, everything. And for those of you that are here today that maybe weren't here yesterday and heard, um, we leave. Our flight is at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and we are going to Savannah, Georgia for a week, y'all. I am excited. His sister Karen is going with us. Karen is a friend of the channel. She watches several chats. So if you're here, Karen, go get some sleep. We have to leave early. You need to be at the airport about 4. So we'll see you at the Delta counter. And yeah, but I'm packed. I've got to go get my makeup together. I've got I'm doing got some lives all ready to go, and I've got a couple more I'm going to add so that I don't have to research during the week. I can go enjoy myself all day long and then come in, have a cup of tea. I'm taking a lot of my peppermint tea with me, and I will be buying my coffee, my Starbucks cold brew coffee in the cans. And we are just going to look around and eat a lot of delicious seafood because that is like our to die for. Mark and I both just love it. So we're going to do that. The crazy cool part about this whole trip, y'all, is that we had enough points saved up, or miles they call them, with Delta. We have a Delta credit card, and so when we use our credit card, it gives us points, and if we travel, it gives us points, and if we do other things, all these points. So anyway, we had enough points that we're able to fly for free. So the flight's not costing us a dime, which I think is amazing. Well, there's actually 3 of us we had enough points for 3 people, but his sister did pay us back for her ticket. So anyway, so then we also have enough points with Hilton, because we always stay in the Hilton if possible at all. Now, when we go to Hawaii, we don't get to, because the Hilton is like crazy expensive, and we want more of a condo, I don't know. We want to feel more like at home, not like we're in necessarily just a resort. So anyway, but we had enough points with Hilton to get the room for free. So the flight and the room are not costing us. And Karen is sharing the room with us. So she paid a third of that. So she gave us back money for what we spent in points. And so we're going to use that for food. So the trip is literally not costing us anything, and we get to go for a week. So, or very little. If I can keep Mark out of the souvenir shops and away from the t-shirts, we will be good. Because one time I counted his t-shirts, and he had like 300 t-shirts. I'm not even kidding. He could wear one a day for a year. He did get rid of some. I told him, I said, you got to get rid of some. He got rid of two out of 300. But, I'm just as bad, so I'm not going to complain. But not where he can hear me. So anyway, so I'm going to go pack my makeup and my medicine and go to bed. Really, because I got to get up at like, I don't know, we got to leave by 3. So I got to get up like at 2. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go, you guys. I love you. Oh, Alan says hi. Good. So I will be doing some lives from Savannah. I'll see you guys when I'm there. I'm also going to do some videos and let you see some of the scenery that we're seeing and stuff like that. So I'll be posting videos as well as lives. So you're going to see me. Hopefully, hopefully the internet is good. So anyway, I'm going to go. I love you guys, and I will talk to you probably tomorrow sometime, if not the day, but the next day. So bye.